Hi everyone, let me tell you a quick story about mental health. I feel like it's something that is not really talked about here in this generation. A lot of people tend to ignore their mental health and continue throughout their days as if they're okay. But let me tell you a quick story. In 2022, a 16-year-old girl named Madison Witt from Texas died by suicide. She was smart, kind, and surrounded by people who loved her, but no one knew the pain that she was carrying within herself. Like so many others, she was struggling silently with depression, and she didn't ask for help because she was ashamed that silence cost her everything. And to me, that happens to us a lot of the times. I know for me, I tend to sometimes stay silent because I don't want other people's to put my problems onto somebody else. I'd rather me fix my own problems than put it onto somebody else's hands and for them to figure out my problems. But Madison's story isn't unique. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. experience mental illness every year, yet less than half receive treatment. According to the article NAMIA I 2023, that millions of people were suffering alone. Today, I want to persuade you to care about this crisis because the truth is, mental health is just as important as your physical health, and it's time we treat it that way. In the next few minutes, I'll explain the scope of the problem, the cause behind it, and the solution that can save lives. Let's start with how serious this really is. Mental health is everywhere. According to the CDC, suicide is the second leading cause of death of people aged 10 to 34 in the United States. CDC 2023. That means more young people are dying by suicide than in a car accident or from cancer. And this doesn't just affect teens. According to the American College Health Association, over 40% of college students reported symptoms of depression or anxiety. In 2022, ACHA 2022, that's almost half of the students walking around overwhelmed and often unnoticed. I know a lot of people's mental health tend to act up when it's finals week or when we got a test. Like, we didn't study, so it gets to us and it's frustrating. I know for me, if I weren't to study for a test, I do get super overwhelmed. I start panicking, I get anxiety because it was my fault. It's nobody else's fault but just mine. So I have to put it on all the pressure on me because I did not take action or responsibility to study and get myself prepared for that test. And now my consequences are gonna affect my test, and I'm obviously gonna get a bad score because I didn't study or when I should have. But there's just a lot of things that go on in our lives, and it pushes us back from the other things that we're supposed to do. I know a lot of college students get super overwhelmed and they tend to push their assignments back, and they prefer to have fun because yeah, we're all young, but I mean, at the end of the day, you have to do it and suck it up. But if you overthink too much about it, then I'd recommend to take action and do your homework just so you don't get anxiety from not doing it. But mental health issues go untreated, the consequences are devastating because it just messes you up and ruins your whole mood. First, we need to talk about mental health openly. Schools, families, and communities should create a safe space where people feel comfortable speaking up. Organizations like Project Simicon are doing this by encouraging people to share their stories and wear semicolons tattoos as a symbol of survival and hope. According to Project Semicolon 2023, second, we need to change the policy. According to NAMI legislation, like Mental Health Services for Students Act can help bring trained counselors into schools so young people don't have to suffer in silence. We must support policies that expand access to affordable, quality, and mental health care. And finally, we need to take personal action that could mean checking in on a friend who's been quiet lately. It could mean sharing mental health resources on social media, or it could mean using the new 989 suicide and crisis lifeline if you or someone needs help. To wrap it up, we talked about the scale of mental health crisis, the causes behind it, and the things that we can do to make a difference. Madison Witt's life ended too soon because no one knew how much she was suffering, but there are others like her, millions of them, and we have the power to help. Let's stop whispering about mental health. Let's speak up. Let's listen. And above all, let's care. Because sometimes the most powerful things you can say to someone, simply like, you're not alone, can mean a lot towards somebody. But thank you for your time, and I hope everyone learned something about mental health, and always check in on your loved ones.